In this video, I'm going to go through my top 10 Sega Master System games. Now, just like my NES top 10, this list is going to be compiled of games I played growing up and games I played in recent times. Let's do it. At number 10, we have Pro Wrestling. It's a classic Sega Master System game that lets players battle it out in the ring with a variety of wrestlers. But is it the best wrestling game? Well, no, it's definitely not the best wrestling game. It's probably not even a good wrestling game, but you've got to admit it looks super cute and it is really fun to play. Now, the sound is great. It's got this banger of a soundtrack that will just be in your head for years after you first heard it. Believe me, it's still there. But I absolutely love this game. Every time I look at it, it makes me smile. And I honestly think it's an underrated gem. It's one of those ones that people just maybe disregard as soon as they see the artwork because it's, pretty lackluster. But honestly, don't sleep on this one. Give it a chance. It is really fun. At number 9, we have Ghostbusters. It's obviously based on the hit movie franchise that allows players to catch ghosts and save the city from paranormal threats. Okay, yeah, it's basically a glorified item management game. So if you're not into that, I don't think I was actually into that as a kid, but for some reason, I just loved it. And I think it was because that was the Ghostbusters game that I got, and I would have taken any kind of Ghostbusters game, and that was the one I got to play first. And I loved it. I especially loved it when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man started terrorizing the city. That was just cool to watch as a kid. I never got that far into it actually because it was super difficult, but I really did enjoy it. And the intro was cool because it had this little bouncy ball there that you can kind of sing along with the main Ghostbusters theme. How cool's that? At number 8, we have Moonwalker, where you play as Michael Jackson, rescuing children and defeating enemies. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson growing up, and I really loved the movie. So when I saw that the game was out and it had levels that looked a bit like Smooth Criminal, which ended up being, a big music video, I was hooked and I needed to play this. Obviously, there's different versions of this game. There's the arcade version and there's obviously the Mega Drive version, which is a way better version than this. But this is the one I played as a kid and I loved it. I mean, going back to it now, it probably will just grind on you the amount of times you just hear the riff of Smooth Criminal. But hey, it's an early Master System game, so what are you gonna do? Next up at number 7, we have Double Dragon, and it's an absolute classic. The game features Billy and Jimmy Lee on a mission to rescue Billy's girlfriend from a street gang. Now, this wasn't the first time I played Double Dragon as a kid. That was on the ZX Spectrum, but this was my favorite version of the game. And I know it's on the NES and pretty much everything, but yeah, the Master System was the version of this I loved, and I loved playing it with friends in co-op as well. It was one of those good ones that you can go around with a friend and you go, let's just play Double Dragon, play through that. It was great. The graphics and the amazingly cool music, honestly, that soundtrack is incredible. Great game. At number 6, we have The Ninja. It's a side-scrolling overhead action game where players take on the role of a ninja on a mission to rescue a princess. Okay, that description sounds generic as they come, but wow, I love this game. I'm pretty sure it was the very first Sega Master System game I ever played, and I remember actually taking turns with lives with my friends. You do that, you play one life each, because it was so hard. It was a really tough game, and it's still tough to this day. In fact, I've never actually completed it, but it's something I'd love to get back to one day and kind of mark that off my list because it was just a game I just loved as a kid. At number 5, we have Master of Darkness, which is a horror-themed platformer where you battle supernatural enemies. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, it should, because it's basically the Master System's answer to Castlevania, and you know what? It's awesome. Not only does it look and sound fantastic, but it also has a really cool story involving Jack the Ripper and Dracula. What else do you want? Next up at number 4, we have Castle of Illusion. It's an absolute classic where you play as Mickey Mouse on a quest to save his girlfriend Minnie from a witch. I have really fond memories of this one. It's a magical little game, and this was way back then when Disney games were really kind of tough. And this was no exception. It's gorgeous to look at and controls really well, but it's the variation and levels that kept me hooked. Fantastic game, and I've heard the remake is supposed to be pretty good too. At number 3, we have the one and only Alex Kidd in Miracle World. It's an iconic platformer where you control Alex on a mission to save his brother. There can't be many people who owned a Master System that didn't play this, as it was built into many of the consoles. And how cool was that? I do miss a good built-in game. Anyway, this game has buckets of charm. It's got super cute graphics, and the music will be stuck in your head for years. It's never left mine. At number 2, we have Wonder Boy 3. The Dragon's Trap. It's a platformer with light RPG elements where you play as a cursed hero, transforming into different creatures to defeat dragons and ultimately lift the curse. This game is incredible. I've mentioned in past videos that I love games where you can swap between different characters, and in this game, there's 6 characters with different abilities. 6! That includes a Hawkman character that can fly. I mean, it just feels crazy for a Master System game to have so much scope. So do check this one out if you haven't already. I'd even say grab the awesome remake that came out in 2017, as you can switch between the new and old graphics. But anyway, this isn't my number 1. That goes to Psycho Fox. It's a platformer where you control a fox, hippo, monkey, or tiger, each with unique abilities. Can you see why I like this so much? Well, you're on a quest to stop an evil mad scientist and save the world. This game will always be close to my heart, as it kind of took my breath away when I first saw it. Obviously, I was obsessed by the fact you could change between characters, but this was the first time I actually saw that happen in a game. And it's actually quite challenging and will take some time getting used to moving, especially if you're used to the likes of Mario Brothers. But it's a proper delight to play once you get into it. Honestly, check it out. It is brilliant. And that's it. That is my top 10. If you've got any recommendations for me, do pop them down in the comments. I'd love to see them. But until next time, maybe check out one of my other top 10s over here.